they might go for this rescue. I feel like this is the last chance now, but you need to be careful. You can't make a move. You're injured. You have triggered a trap, so you need to get out of there as soon as possible. And I think Oya is going to die here. And that also means it's worth mentioning, I don't think any survivor was on the bottom side towards Shag for the past 5 minutes at this point.
I don't think we've been past that portion of the map. I mean, we talk about sometimes how killers can zone a survivor, but man, Zirix here has just zoned the entirety of the squad here for Kanapek. Hey, what it do? It's your boy Q, and welcome back to YouTube. And your eyes did not deceive you in either the title or the intro video. In round 2 of the holiday horrors over in Dead by Esports, we saw a hag pick for some competitive DBD, which admittedly, it was a first for me. And even Dyer had said it had been a while for him as far as seeing hag played competitively. But what was more impressive than the fact that we got to see a 4K with the hag was the fact that we got to see 2. With 2 completely really different strategies and tactics as well, as you'll notice. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are probably wondering what kind of balancing we would see with the hag and competitive play. But if you look here, you'll notice that the banned perk list for survivors isn't too bad, right? Oh, wait a minute. That was just the general balancing. There you go. That's the full listing there. And as you can see, not too many perks that are banned, right? But also in order to allow the hag to have some time to set up, the survivors are required to not only bring in the typical blueprint offering, but this round they'll also be required to bring in a Shroud of Binding as well as a Vigo Shroud in order to assure that all 4 survivors spawn as far away from the killer and that they all spawn together. And Azerov's resting place does offer a point for the hag to have a nice little double choke point as well. So but if y'all are wanting to keep up with as far as what the wolfpack has going on over in Dead by Esports, of course, as always, I'm going to leave a link for their Discord down in the description below. I'm also going to leave a link for my Discord in there as well. Honestly, it's the best place to keep up with as far as where I'm shoutcasting at. Our schedule is pretty busy. I'm also going to leave a link for our stream down there too. That way you can pop in when we go live. All right. But since this Black Crows versus Kanapek game did go down to the wire, I'm going to go ahead and attach all 4 trials. The back-to-back hag games, though, those are first. I know that's what you guys clicked on anyways, right? As always, though, if you enjoyed the video, if you can do me a huge favor, leave a like and a comment. That's going to help us out with that good old YouTube algorithm. And since people do seem to be enjoying this competitive DBD content, I'm trying my best to keep the best stuff coming to the channel. So if you want to hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, we can catch you right back here for the next video. All right. And until next time, for real, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. It's your boy Q, signing out.
All right, everyone, welcome into 47 perk bans on the survivor side against the hag on Azerov's resting place, and this is going to be super interesting. We talked about it. It is an approach of determining a winning team based on a very slow and a very, very coordinated gameplay, and it is a little bit nostalgic as we see the first chase here, as my first game ever in DBD Comp was in the first Dead by Esports tournament, and we had to play the hag. So I feel a bit set back in time 2 years ago. First generator getting done already. That's not that much as a surprise, as the hag needs a lot of time to prepare here. That is going to be a triggered trap here. Claudette making a little bit of trouble here in the midsection. So far, it seems like the hag is pulling the traps towards the bottom side of mid to really have a range area to operate here, and I think that could be a good idea, and that might be a down.
Yeah, we are going to see the body block coming in though here, so you're at least going to be able to bring yourself a second injured state here, but you are going to see now, if we continue in this chase, we see one trap getting triggered there. This could be a really good point for our survivors, at least the two fully healthy ones, to try and run through this middle area and get rid of some of the prep time that we have seen our hag have to go through here. We are going to see another one popping over across the way, now actually going over here to this corner and trying to see if we're able to locate any other survivors, but our survivors playing very, very patient. I like to see this.
Yeah, the patience is potentially same as on Twins, right? It comes down, there will be a moment in the match where it comes down to the question, is the survivor team overcommitting to something, too much risk? Or is the killer maybe trying something to like take a chase into a map corner? And this is really making a difference there. We see how safe they're keeping it here by dropping the shack pallet early, because you really don't want to have a down here. The trap is now not active anymore, so Nancy can keep running. Zirix seems to continue chasing here, as it seems like the hag does find a chance here to force it down and ignoring the generator setup. And I have to say, with the potential 0 stages that is coming out from a hag, I can understand when you take a lot of risk here and potentially let some generators go and take the down here.
Yeah, I think this is why we were kind of surprised to even see the hag pick come out, right? Because it's very different than your typical, I guess you could say, your comp gameplay, because normally you don't want to give up gen pressure, right? Because there are teams that are going to be able to bang out those gens very, very fast, and now you're using a killer that's not typically a chase killer, and you've been staying in chase for quite a bit of time. We even have seen a survivor lurking around, and the survivors being the Kate was able to trigger that trap earlier, now able to come in and save the body block, meaning that now the Nia and the Claudette are probably just split up on 2 separate gens and just really doing the easy part, which is holding them one and hitting skill checks. There's generator number 2 as we speak.
Also interesting to mention here, now where these survivors know about it, we can reveal it. We are playing with Sloppy Butcher, Cholorophobia, and Distressing. So you're forcing these survivors into the broken bone, basically, that takes a lot of additional time to heal. In addition of that, you force a slower healing time, and you do have a bigger terror radius, and that's actually the first down now. 3 generators remaining. I do think, though, that some on the top side are gonna get completed. However, I feel like getting a down for a hack before all gens are done is already very, very good play.
Yeah, definitely a good start for Zirix here, and I know maybe we have some people wondering what we're talking about as far as 1 hook for 3 gens, but you can see looking around that Zirix has some very good map control right now. You've got a hook in the middle of your 3 gen. You walked by 2 gens just a second ago. Neither of them had any progress. We were taking chase by this other one in the opposite corner, so we know that that gen doesn't have any progress as well. So right now, Zirix is having time to go ahead and set up your web here and really just kind of set up for a nice little mid game.
And we see that Nancy is removing another pallet here from the trial. That's also interesting to mention, right? Because same as the Hillbilly, kind of, as more resources coming out, especially a killer like Billy or Hack are really taking profit from that. We also don't need to worry about a life, sprint burst, DH, anything. Every exhaustion perk, including adrenaline, is banned from the survivor team. So if you have a survivor around you, you can just calculate how much time is that potentially to take it down and take the injury, and don't need to worry. Kanapek getting a little bit slower on the generators. I don't think that's because of a lack in efficiency. They are potentially just sitting on 2 different generators right here, but 2 survivors injured, and the hack is really holding this bottleneck right here. So Nia potentially getting killed here, and I believe there's only 1 generator left on the top side, so we might still be with a remaining generator even in a 3v1.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting too is watching our killer here. Zirix has been able to continue to spread this web out here in this middle part of the trial, right? Like, we were kind of moving up towards the shack. Then we started setting up over on that side, especially after the chase. And we have now been able to push up towards the top side of the map portion of the bottleneck here. And I do believe that is going to result in a elimination here before we see a 4th gen complete. And that could be tough. We are going to see, decent amount of progress as far as on this gen. Also a reset coming in on our other survivor here. But now our survivors really need to make sure that they are being very deliberate with their actions, because you cannot be making any more mistakes.
And we have seen how careful Zirix has prepared the mid part of the map. Right there we see it. You get an alert basically as soon as the survivor team is pushing towards your generators. So now you know it's time to leave the Claudette and take a chase over here. Oi is getting injured as well, needs to run back to the top side healing, and Hag will just go and reset these traps here in the mid part. So we do see actually what we predicted in the talk before we went into this match. It's going to come down to a very patient, very slow, and very coordinated gameplay between these two teams. For now, I will say, even though they lost the survivor, Kanapek is doing a really, really good job. But this mind game here, this chase on this TNL needs to be perfect, because if this survivor gets downed, the Hag will be in an amazing spot.
Yeah, especially seeing as we look around, we do still have that 3 gen over on the shack side of the map intact here. And I believe we actually have all of our survivors here on this top side, which does mean that we could, still be looking at having a 3 gen setup, even if we do happen to get a little bit of a longer chase. It's going to be really interesting, because it seems like Zirix is playing this very patient. We see coming over, getting a little pressure, removing a pallet, and then instead just coming back and playing Hag the way that you are supposed to play her, which is making her more of a trap killer instead of a chase killer.
And we see that Claudette is back in chase up here, so more pallets are getting removed from the trial here. Another trap in the distance, so someone is running down. The entire survivor team back with a reset. They are potentially waiting a little bit here at the top side, trying to find the moment where they can all go to the bottom side as a 3-man. You see it immediately. Hag on the left side, 2 survivors attacking the right side. And there's another survivor. There's the alert, and bam, that's going to be an injury onto the Kate. So the survivor team forced to keep it slow once again and pull back towards the main building here. If I look on the setup Zirix has created here, it is in fact a very perfect Hag play, as the survivor's going to reset in main building, and as soon as someone is running towards the bottom side of the map to take your generators, you basically get an alert by your traps.
Yeah, you get the alerts, and since you aren't really pushing all the way into main building, at least you haven't thus far into the trial, you're usually close enough where you're able to teleport right back to those traps as well. And so you don't have really traps around the gens so much, but just what it takes, the distance that it takes to get to those gens. And we do see now taking the chase with the Claudette. Not sure if Claudette's going to be able to even make it to this pallet over here. Now going towards the TNL wall. That is going to be a down over here. And this is kind of away from where you want to be as the survivors, and unfortunately now you're gonna have to come over here and get the save.
And a play like this, right, Zirix has it kept really slow, and now finding the perfect moment to chase Claudette and down her, and that really gives us an understanding why Black Crows went to pick the Hag here, because they seem to know exactly what is needed on the Hag. What is the patience you need? What is the setup across the map you need to gain all the information? How do I find the perfect moment to let go from my generators and go into a chase? Here we see that again now, having the Kate here, and she will run towards the trap here behind this pallet. So that's going to be a mind game, and she is losing it. So another hook coming out. 3 survivors so far. I will say that Black Crow's Hag here is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this, and this has actually been very interesting to watch, because you can tell Zirix has been very much in control from the word go. I mean, moving, the blood web, or not the blood web, imagine, moving the Hag's web up towards the actual portion of the map that you want to control, now has done a very good job of just consistently keeping a very, very strong web here in the middle of the map, which has really just kept the survivors stuck. Even seeing it here, yeah, you aren't getting what we see in the pubs matches where you get the easy teleport and you get the M1, but you're getting so much information and you're able to basically consistently zone the entire team for the entirety of the game. It's really impressive, honestly.
Really, really strong. And I have to agree, it is. I was also unsure what to expect, and we have received the concerns from the community or Hag. Something that could be really slow, really uninteresting. But I have to say, at least for my personal taste, I think we see the teams really calculating all time and trying to figure out carefully what's the next step as an opposite to a hillbilly, to a blight, to a nurse. And it gives you also a full new insight into how the comm teams work, how they communicate. And then on top, Zirix here with the patience, with the plan, actually may be able to get a second kill here very soon.
And, you know, now I can't help but sit here and wonder if we see Black Crows be able to have not only a very strong killer performance like we're seeing here, but seeing them come out, if they have a very strong survivor performance, it makes me wonder if they move past this round, do we maybe even see Hag come out again in the Holiday Horrors event, you know?
There's another trap. They might go for this rescue. I feel like this is the last chance now, but you need to be careful. You can't make a move. You're injured. You have triggered a trap, so you need to get out of there as soon as possible. And I think Oya is going to die here. And that also means it's worth mentioning, I don't think any survivor was on the bottom side towards Shag for the past 5 minutes at this point.
Yeah, not since we took that kind of longer chase to start the trial. I don't think we've been past that portion of the map. I mean, we talk about sometimes how killers can zone a survivor, but man, Zirix here has just zoned the entirety of the squad here for Kanapek onto this side of the map. Now getting a third down here there's going to be another down here going to be onto the Claudette. And now can even just play a little bit more aggressive, looking for your last injured survivor, knowing that they are going to be giving you some sound indicators and stuff once you do get close. And you also got some scratch marks here too. Let's go.
And now you slug for the 4K, and that's actually the last survivor. That's it. That's a 4K on 2 gens remaining. If I look back on what we have received as an expectation by the teams, that she might get 0 staged or really, really struggling. Either we found a very good balance approach. Shout out at this moment to Ryan from Agony, who is helping a lot with the balancing and really working together with me on developing concepts and stuff. A quick shout out to him. Either this is the perfect balance, or we just saw Zirix with an absolute game plan and an understanding and an idea that is just absolutely impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, really impressive. I don't think you could have told me going into today, seeing the Hag set, that the first time that we saw Hag in competitive DBD was going to be a 4K with just 3 gens complete. That's really impressive. And I agree. I'm going to be interested to see, especially with to see how our killer from Kanapek come out and kind of respond. Does that let us know, have we nailed the balance, or is Zirix just that cracked of a Hag on top of a relatively fair balancing as well? And yeah, man, again, I said it earlier, if our survivors right now for Black Crows can come out and have a kind of the type of survivor round I think we were expecting against the Hag, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hag come out in the semifinals again. Or the quarters, sorry.
You definitely need to be really careful if you face Black Crows in the future and Hag is in the pool. Also worth mentioning, we are talking a lot about the mindset, right? The chemistry in the team, etc. So now you got 4K on 2 gens up, and as a Hag yourself, you need to have a ton of patience. Do you think Kanapek might struggle with this patience now, after already being under pressure?
Well, I would imagine that this is probably part of what Black Crows was hoping to do with the pick, right? If you can come out and if you can put pressure where you feel like a killer that is normally not, we mentioned it multiple times, isn't normally a chase killer, but make them feel like they have to chase down the 4K, you might be able to really open up this matchup here in set number 1. I mean, Kanapek's a name that we've seen around for a little bit and has some experience, but the pressure is definitely on. I'm gonna be really interested to see how they respond here.
Need to have a look though onto what the actual builds are here. First of all, we have the Shroud of Binding, Vigo's Shroud, and the Hatch offering. That's the 3 required offerings here from the Survivor side. We do have a Self-Preservation paired with Saboteur, Any Means Necessary, and Breakout. So you have like trying to prevent the hack from getting the hook in the area she wants you to be in. Then we have a Recover build with the DS, Unbreakable, Tenacity, Borrowed Time. Very interesting to see that. For the People, Blood Pact, Resilience, Stakeout. Stakeout, come. Q, I remember when we loaded into this match,
yeah.
you said like, let's go Stakeout and come.
Yeah, interesting to see. You know what though? I don't think, unfortunately, you weren't able to get the value that you were hoping to get out of that, because that could have maybe helped you later in the trial when you were trying to get like that 4th gen.
That's very true, yeah. I really like the ideas behind these builds, but we have to say Zirix was just too quick on having these builds actually working out. But a very, very nice approach here from the team. Also going to be interesting to compare them to the builds that is Black Crows coming in, as we could potentially consider them the hack experts now after that one. Let's have a look on the add-ons. We do have that the traps are staying up longer. That's an interesting one, because I would have expected setting speed and teleport distance. Instead, we see that the trap is staying up longer, so you can teleport into it longer, which might come in handy on these panels when you try to force a mind game between, is the hack teleporting or is she staying on the other side? We have seen that in the mid part a little bit. Very interesting to see that here.
Yeah, and you had talked about even just the build for Zirix during the match itself. I want to bring that back up because it's kind of a lot of perks that you don't, normally see. Chlorophobia, distressing, but it works together so very well with what you're trying to do, which is slow the game down. You get some injured states, and then just exactly like Zirix did, right? You push the team back into that top side of the map, and then you just web up the middle, and you've got control.
Yeah, that is going to be a challenge for Kanapek here, but they prepared hack as well. I have to agree with some people in chat. I have seen them practicing against hack, so we can expect potentially a very, very good response here. Kanapek is coming out on the hack now. Black Crows on the Survivor side, 6-28. We're gonna stay in this screen right here to give you an idea of the balancing again if you just came in, and then we will be back for you after a little break. All right, here we are back. Kanapek 6, Black Crows 28, and that's a pretty quick hit into this match here. DB seem like going for a very aggressive play here. Only one trap set so far, and a little bit of a different build here. We have Corrupt and 3 mystery perks. Actually, Sloppy Butcher and 2 mystery perks, but no Distressing and no Colophobia, so a little bit of a difference here. Someone is triggering the trap behind DB, but it seems like we can tell that this hack is also opting to get the down as quick as possible.
Yeah, but we do see some assistance coming in from our team. Oh, and unfortunately, it might have been a little auto-aim locking onto the pallet there, which is going to cause the swing and the miss. It does look like our Survivor squad has done a very good job of making sure that DB here does not have a bunch of time to set up. We do see a couple of Survivors have been around to try and prolong this first chase, which does mean we probably only have one Survivor that has been consistently working on a gen, but wouldn't be surprised to see if there are a couple of them rotating to try and get that objective done here rather quickly.
That's a very good first down. You must feel really good about this after you just had the 4K on your Survivor side as well. You're getting the first down with 5 generators up. That's exactly what you need. That gives you confidence, and that makes you feel good when starting into this match. And I can imagine, though, that the Kanapek survivors are screaming on the killer right now. That's a start. Keep going. And if they do that, I think they can be in a really strong spot right here.
Yeah, and we are going to see DB kind of taking some time around this hook, going to start as far as with the web here of those traps, and wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see DB kind of more start to move this web more towards the center of the map, similar to like we saw Zirix do in the last trial, but just make sure that you are sticking relatively close as well. That way you can kind of force these hook states, because we are going to see a second gen getting done. We are going to see that we have a little bit of extra map knowledge there thanks to those auras, which does allow DB to know that you've done a pretty good job of breaking this hooked survivor away from the rest of the team.
Camping out this to second stage is a really good idea. We might even see the complete ban, and I think we can also hold enough generators here towards this side of the map. Feng in a chase now, leaving really early, not giving... Oh, actually a second survivor over here. So you do know that 2 survivors are busy right now, not working on a generator. You do have a lot of traps right there that makes it difficult to rescue the survivor over there. I think that might be Ace dying here.
Yeah, and we do see actually coming right over here across just in time to find a Megan who was trying to crouch walk through those traps and not trigger them. So now you are going to be able to get yourself the M1 onto that survivor. Worth noting, you had talked about before when we were by Shack, we had seen 2 survivors. We now saw the additional survivor being the Megan. Right now, I think if I'm Black Crows, I am making sure that I am going to just go ahead and allow this sacrifice to happen, but make sure DB pays for it by making sure that you get that, really, if you can get that middle gen done, that would do a really good job of breaking up your map.
Yeah, the issue is still that we see 1 survivor lurking for the save right here, and the mag came back as well, so I actually think that what you just mentioned feels like the right idea to do here. But I think Black Crows had a different plan, and we will see if that's actually going to pay out, because I think Nia is in a difficult spot here as well and will go actually down on this pallet over here. That's the second down, that's the second hooked survivor, and we only repaired 2 generators so far, so they tried to trade gen progress into a potential late rescue, but that didn't seem to work out well.
Yeah, especially here, unfortunate, because we're going to see now this hook is going to come right next to a generator that has a decent amount of progress here, right? So now you're going to be able to kind of trap up, set up a new web of traps over here, and now you can protect what you can probably assume, honestly, that is the generator that had the most progress thus far in the trial, at least at this point. And now you're just going to be able to kick this thing, no pop to help with the regression, but since you're going to be in the area, that thing's going to regress back quite a bit.
And checking on the mid section here, lurking up on this generator. This one here has a good amount of progress though. They could potentially just take care about the generators over here. Yeah, so you could, if you just get 1 additional gen, you have 2 points lead. So that could also be a strategy here. If you realize it is potentially ending in a 4K, then we're gonna make sure that we have at least 4 generators done and take a 2, potentially a 4-point lead into the last set if we get all of them done, because we do have the mid generator and the one next to main building. This one there on the top side, I feel like, should definitely be something Black Crows can get out of the way here.
It's kind of interesting that when you look around, that the gens that are still left are kind of similar to what we saw at the end game of the last one. Of course, there is still the one that is back behind main building that you had talked about. But DB is going to just be playing defense here, thanks to the little bottleneck portion of the map here. And I think once we do see that elimination come across, you will see DB at that point make a trek back to that backside. But with how little time is left, unless they are paired up or unless there was already quite a bit of progress on that gen behind main building, I don't know if they have enough time to get it done.
Yeah, that is a difficult spot here for Black Crows. Actually interesting that both killers are able to potentially put up a 4K, because we are now in a 2v1 situation with 2 generators up. This does not look like a normal escape here after repairing all the generators done. We might see something done with the exit doors. This survivor over here is injured, so you are forcing the Mac into leaving this tile. We have the truck over here, actually one filler pellet. Nice fake though. DB going for a swing that is not going to hit Mac now, taking some distance to the main building. I will say though, if this chase here continues a little bit longer, the Feng might be able to work cross map and work on that generator. However, 80 seconds is going to be a long and difficult time.
Yeah, unless maybe the Fang was on one of the further gens away and was just trying to grind out those gens there and get it done, because we are going to see a down here at this point onto the Megan, which is unfortunate. That is going to be a fresh hook here, and that is going to mean that the last survivor left is the only one that is in the field of play. And you can kind of see a little bit of a decent kind of web even still at this point to kind of section off the middle portion of your map. Now coming over here, you can actually hear there's no progress on this gen actually over yonder way this way. So really kind of intrigued to see if we can... Oh, and there's the Fang though, unfortunately going to be able to find her. And there is plenty of hang time left on our survivor thanks to the fact that they are on first hook there, and that is going to be a down. So Chad, I'm not sure what resolution y'all are watching this in, but that is indeed a 4K to me, and kind of interesting. Two, I would say, very different approaches as far as the Hag gameplay, and both of them being able to get the 4K before all 5 gens were complete. I'm very, very mind blown by that, honestly.
That's an insane performance here. The Fang, very unfortunate. Oh, don't call me, please. Your mate is still alive. Oh, don't do that. Oh, thank God. That would have been an issue. Even though both were hanging already. But I think with the rules we have, it would have been an issue. Not entirely sure. But good that this didn't happen. But yeah, so... I'm on your side, Q. I have to say, like we have said it after trial number 1, right? It's impressive that the Hag got a 4K here. A second 4K is really impressive, and that also splits Kanapek and Black Crows by only 2 points.
And that's insane. I would have thought after seeing the performance that Black Crows came out with, I thought maybe they would have had an extra trick or two up the sleeve. And now we're going to be going into the Blight set with only a very small lead here. And I mean, it's still a lead nonetheless, right? But man, I feel like you were probably hoping to just be able to get a little bit more out of that set.
It's going to be interesting with the 2 things here, and with the 2 points here. A little bit of an interesting approach here with the flashbang, with a self-aware or fixated. Really, really interesting. So different perks, same result though. The Hags are taking over. However, we have a second set today. And that is going to be, let me remove all the balance restrictions here. That is going to be the Blight picked by Kanapek. So the Blight needs to force a decision. 2 points difference. Kanapek down by 2 points here with a 34-36. We will be back for you after a little break.
All right, and we are back. Kanapek versus Black Crows here. Looking to get yourself a little bit of you want to come back from a 2-point deficit here. You got DB out on the Blights, and we are able to find ourselves a survivor very, very quick, being the ace. You would really like to be able to get a fast down on the ace, especially seeing that we are taking chase with the ace on the corrupt side of our map here as we are on Gas Heaven. This kind of gives you a nice little area to defend as well if you get this down.
And now I need to get used to the switch of gameplay here from a very slow approach to a very, very fast-paced one from the very fast-paced one with the Blight here. It feels so different seeing this killer here, but doing a good job here. The ace, quite a long chase, so corrupt 70% expired, going down now, but it's deep in corrupt. That's gonna be 1 generator over there, potentially a second one coming out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the survivor squad right now for Black Crows, you're really going to hope that you are going to be able to get that second one relatively quick. We are going to hear this one in the main building with a lot of progress, but as we push those survivors off there, they are going to start seeing that gen regressing a little bit. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, we are going to be able to see DB here keep track on this generator that has the most progress, keep track of your hook survivor. I don't know if you saw that totem over there. Really, DV, I don't know if he did like a nice little rain dance for RNG just to something, but things really working out in their favor right now.
And this is DB trying to catch the survivor here, but using the main building really, really well here on the survivor side. Actually needs to go around here, checking back on the hook, trying to interrupt the potential saver, but nobody is coming around. So that might be Ace going into second stage here. As we said before, if that's gonna happen, you do want to take out some generators here to put pressure onto the killer. They are already back in the main building here, getting pushed off. The ruin is still standing though, so that's going to come in very handy here for Kanapek.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting here because we are going to see now that save coming in across the way. Unfortunately, it was not before our survivor had been forced into stage number 2. DB making the easy choice here now to come back towards this corner of the map to try and locate our survivor. The survivor is actually able to locate the ruin there, was trying to make a play at it. Unfortunately, was not able to get it done, but plus 10 wood to the face. Ace saying, gets done, stupid. Built a little bit of distance here. And it's also going to be able to bait out the swing as well.
And now the next pallet getting destroyed here. Ace on the corner of the map also went into second stage. That's the bad news here on your survivor team. You do need to make something work. That's a firecracker and a juke. So Ace here really fighting for his life. Third generator coming out. If they get a fourth, I feel like they're still in a good spot, as we, I think, don't have a tight 3-gen here. There's 1, there's 2. No, they are in a good spot. If they can get generator number 4 for the 3v1, I think they can still force it. Oh, actually, this is 3 in line here. I just realized.
3-gen. Yeah. So the 3-gen that was corrupt is still intact, and actually this one back here is the one that has the most progress, and I don't think we even have a full second piston going on that thing. So DB is in a very good spot here, and what's tough is, you know, we talk constantly about the risk reward of bringing in the ruin, and right now DB is in very much the reward portion. Of course, Caster's curse, as I mentioned in it myself. I am sorry, DB, but there is going to be the ruin getting broken across the way.
And this is going to be knocked down. Fang making it back just in time here. And Sad B is now going over here to chase on the Tina, interrupting the generator. Now it's not enough anymore, though, to just put a survivor away from the generator and have the regression from the Hex Ruin as they remove that. So good move here by Nia also to go far away from the generator. Someone is potentially taking over right now. Thanatophobia, of course, helping a little bit here, but that is 2 stacks only, and that might be enough if a survivor is rotating to get that generator done, also considering that Nia has another pallet over here.
Yeah, one thing though to consider is, of course, the progression on those gens right now by the survivors, if they are working on them, going to be a little bit slower due to that Thanatophobia. So we are going to see a 4th gen though getting done across the way. That is going to be one that breaks up that 3 gen over there as well. So that does mean, even though you have unfortunately surrendered another hook, at least you have broken up the 3 gen setup over across the way. And imagining the fact that the ruin was broken, wouldn't be surprised if the one on the complete opposite corner was currently being worked on by whoever broke the ruin itself.
Yeah, that is, I think this match is closer than it looks like, right? Because we have 4 stages that looks like a really, really strong takeover from Black Crows here. But DB has a survivor injured in chase, has someone on the hook over there. So Mac is forced to make a move at this point and cannot work on a generator. So the game on the survivor side is basically frozen at this point. But Feng here with a great patience at this pallet, and these seconds is really what you need in order to take over the control of the game again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you are able to make it all the way to the pallet. We do see that that is going to be a down. Now the question being, do we have a survivor moving in for the save? Or, yep, I was going to say, or are they committed to that gen all the way across the way, by the way, the one I was talking about earlier. Man, I'm good. But that's going to be a 5th gen now getting done. And, you know, now would not be surprised to see, yeah, I was going to say, see our Blight go this way because you have information over here. So, like, why not leave your slug and see if you can get to 4K?
Yeah, this would be insane because also we will have 4K's the entire day or the entire game here basically. So it comes down to a question of generators and how many of them are repaired. So DBee unable for now to locate the mag, checking back here on the exit doors. I feel like mag, especially considering she's fresh hook, will stay really hidden and not take any risk.
Yeah, now at this point, you know, I think that play makes sense, especially because you still have the ability to allow your slug to still be able to get somewhere to safety. Make DBee then at that point need to make a play, though. I am going to say we are going to see actually the pickup onto the Fang here, which is interesting because now you can simply 50-50 the doors and at least hopefully guarantee yourself at least one out. Unfortunately, it is the Megan, your only fully healthy survivor, that is located here. And now with the ability to go with your Blight Rush, you're going to be able to close that distance, keeping an eye on both of the doors here, going to be able to secure the down onto your Kate as well. And I think from looking around, there wasn't enough progress in this door. Wouldn't be surprised to see our killer here, DBee, go ahead and secure this hook and then just go ahead and patrol the doors and get this 4K.
Yeah, it is really good down location here, right? Straight between the exit of the beautiful hook here as well coming out now. And I feel like this was potentially the last chance for the survivors here to take the exit doors, because now you can just sit in front of the hook here, keeping an eye on the survivor, keeping an eye on the doors. I'm not too sure where they spawned the hatch, so if that's in main building, this might be a chance as the Blight needs to leave for a second and you can hop on a door potentially with a wake up here. However, it is also just going to be a few seconds, so Kanapek and the Blight really in a mode right now where they can potentially take the 4K here, even though 6 stages are missing at this point.
And, you know, worth mentioning, right? We saw Black Crows come out in game number 1, the first trial of this matchup, and put up a very impressive Hag performance that I think really shocked a lot of people. Then they go into their killer set, though, as far as for Kanapek, and you're able to counter with almost as good of a Hag game. You do allow only one more gen to get done, and then now you were able to shut down Black Crows here and potentially be looking at a 4K at 5 gens complete. So really going to be putting the pressure on them heading into trial 4.
Yeah, it is. I think it's also going to be a generator win condition, if I'm right, because Black Crows is up by 2 points. So they got now, might be that Kanapek needs 1 stage out, though. Not entirely sure. We're gonna see that in a second. But yeah, it is going to be a little bit slower now, but it will be the mag being camped out. And then depending where the hatch spawns, you might have an easier time if you need to go over to the main building on the survivor side and have the chance to use some seconds. However, the Fang would need to sit straight next to an exit door right now, and even then, with Blight's mobility, I feel like it's going to be a difficult one, and it seems like to be Shag actually for the hatch, so that is really unfortunate here.
Yeah, it's really tough because the Shag, of course. Oh, but you did see Fang was making the right play. Unfortunately, though, DBee making the even better play, making sure that they check both doors before going into the animation to close the hatch. But I think, wow, imagine.
I tell you, this game is so much closer than it looks during the mid game. It is insane, and it is going to be 10 points here for Black Crows for the generators. That is putting them to 46. And it is going to be 28 points to Kanapek for the 4K. So that is going to be a score of 62 to 46. Now we're going to switch the sides. So let's say we are talking or we are talking about a point difference here of 16 points. If we say Kanapek gets all the gens done, that would be 10 points to 28. That would be 18 points. That would be enough. I feel like all generators done would be the win condition here.
That's tough. So you're able to come back out, and even though Black Crows put up a really good start to your matchup, now you're able to flip back the pressure onto them, and knowing that you need to be able to get the 4K. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, all gens done is the win for Kanapek. 1 gen remaining would be a tie. 2 gens would be the win for Black Crows. So the killer of Black Crows, as you say, is now under pressure after we have seen the complete opposite at the start of the match. Really insane here by Kanapek, and we have seen that the Blight can 4K, though. The question is, will there be a generator still standing? We're gonna find out about that in just a second. Alright, trial 4, 46-62 win condition, all generators repaired for Team Kanapek here. Blight finding a first survivor very quickly into this game, and that needs to be a first down that is coming out fairly quickly in order to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, it's going to be really important to be able to keep that pressure from the word go. I mean, we're even seeing that Zirix here understands that with the build, you know, bringing in the very high risk Ruin Undying combo to go with the Corrupt Intervention, knowing that it doesn't make sense to bringing in an end game build if getting to the end game simply already means the survivors have won. But you have been able to get yourself a down here before the first 60 seconds of the trial, but oh my goodness, Ruin and Undying getting cleansed just like that.
This is insane, and this is how you get your win condition of 5 generators, right? You're coming in, yes, you hand out a down, but Ruin and Dying, goodbye. And that is insane, and that puts some pressure onto Black Crow's killer here. Getting the first down feels very good, and it does get you started, but you need to do so much more here. Second tag onto Concio, though. The Blight doing a really good job so far.
And I know it's easier for me to say this knowing that the Ruin and Undying was taken out that early, but even as we loaded into the trial and I saw the build here, I couldn't help but wonder if maybe Zirix would have gotten more value out of a Thanatophobia instead of the Undying, especially knowing that we're on an Auto Haven Wrecker's realm, right, which notoriously has very bad totem spawns when it comes to being able, you can't hide them very well, so more than likely your very efficient teams are going to find them just the way that we did see our survivors here do. You are going to go ahead and try and continue your tunnel out process. There is going to be the down here onto the Claudette here, and this is going to be another hook, but since we haven't seen a gen yet, I can't help but imagine that our survivors right now are split up individually amongst a couple of gens, and we might see 2 pop here before this hook is complete.
Sensig now back on a hook here to that second stage. 1 generator complete, though. Even though Ruin Undying is gone, the Blight still in a very, very good position right here. The pop kick coming out now. Quick rescue in the distance. Set B. That's it for the people play to prevent the tunnel out. That's interesting.
Wow, I really like that play, because it does mean now if Zirix is going to want to, you talked about tunnel out the Claudette here, now is going to take 2 health states, meaning that this chase should last longer. Should mean that you should hopefully, if you are the survivors, get a second, if not a third gen complete before the 3v1 happens. We are going to see Zirix now going along the backside of the gas station here. The only bad news is that the survivor has gotten out there. There could be distance to be made, but we do see instead that is going to be Claudette going down, and that is now going to be a 3v1 with only 2 gens complete.
And that is now the kill. That is so huge for our killer here, getting into a 3v1 that quickly. 3 generator is so insane here, and I'm not too sure about the one in the distance though, but actually Zirix expecting a reset to happen here. Needs to go back now. That's going to cost some time here. Kanapek potentially on the far generators. We can only hope that this one here is not too far away.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we did see the one generator we had walked by first, had 50%. Doesn't sound like there's too much elsewhere. We are going to see a third gen, though, coming in there, which does mean at this point, if you are wanting to at least force the tie, you need to at least shut it down here, because I think you said four generators would be the tie, right?
Yeah, that's true. 4 is a tie.
So right now, you're really feeling the pressure. You're in a good spot as far as the amount of progression that is on the gens, but you really need to, I mean, honestly, I was going to say, wouldn't be surprised to see a Slut to try and get some extra pressure here, but there is going to be the 4th gen. Now our survivors simply need one more generator left in order to be able to get this win here.
And then Mac needs is basically the decision maker nearly, because this chase here needs to end very, very soon, and otherwise Kanapek potentially with the last generator coming out or going down here and going onto a hook now, they could just go double up on a generator. They do not need to worry about who's potentially escaping the trial here. They do not need to worry about the escape points. All they do is teaming up on a gen and getting that completed, and it does seem like that's gonna happen. What is happening now? Is that going to end in a DC? Oh my goodness.
What's happened here?
I don't know.
He's very focused on this hooking process here. There seems to be... oh, there we go. Hey!
Oh!
Wait a minute.
That's the survivor.
This is interesting, though, because you talked about them not needing to get the save, but now you talk about Zirix isn't even having to worry about staying around the hook. Zirix can now just patrol the 3 gens, and if you can still shut him down at the 4 gens complete, you can at least force another set.
Yeah, that is insane, and we also need to look into what that was on the survivor side, because it denied a pop kick as well, so it does have some impact on the match here. So Oye hopefully has a good reason here to DC from the match. It is now going into the chase with the Nia. That leaves, in fact, the Nancy here on the last generator. The question is, can God the Sun Concio already going down? This is just a question of a few seconds.
Yeah, we are going to see Zirix here, going to go ahead and go for the easy pickup here. Just don't want to risk any sort of unbreakable or anything, hoping that maybe you have bought yourself enough time to be able to sprint across the map here with these rushes and check up on these gens again, knowing that we cannot allow another gen to be complete, but it does not sound like we have any generator that is getting close to completion here. So as long as we do not have an end game play here with the hatch, this might be Zirix benefiting a little bit from the DC and might be able to force this into an overtime.
This would be insane, because this matchup was so interesting to watch, and having it decided by an overtime, we actually need to see here who would be the tiebreaker. Let's have a look. That would be the Oni, and I feel like Oni is a very, very great killer to have a decision, as it's also about so much careful playstyle and not making any mistake.
And Oni would be back on... we would be going back to Sheltered for that, right?
That will be Shelter Woods, yeah.
Ooh, I would like that. Especially, we talked about with the Hillbillies before, with the lack of resources, could be make things with the Oni sort of spicy here. Now we are going to see that second stage being forced. Now Zirix going to double check up on these gens here, just see if you can try and make sure you are preventing any sort of end game play, because that would be heartbreaking.
That is, we have actually the confirmation that the internet died there on the side of Kanapek, so that's not going to be any restart or anything else. That is, in fact, going to be 8 points for Kanapek. Kanapek and the Black Crows are taking 28 points. I actually need to look into that. So if they would get the escape here, that's still the chance to come back from this. But if our killer gets the kill here, I believe that's gonna result in a tie.
And, very unfortunate as far as the DC, but you gotta say, though, at least it was a DC that led to a overtime and not a DC that resulted in an immediate loss, right?
That's correct, yeah. We do need to get a confirmation from the scorekeepers, though, if this 4K here would be the tie, actually, as I think they could potentially move up to 74 here with Black Crows. Scorekeeper is going to tell us in a second. But yeah, a very impressive performance here by our Blight. Waiting for the scorekeepers now to confirm, to be sure of what's going to be the outcome here. It's actually so close that we can't determine the outcome here.
Yeah, and I think the thing to keep in mind, too, was here you didn't see the... What?
It's enough. Black Crows takes the win. 4 points. We made a mistake in the original...
I was counting my math the opposite way, wasn't I?
Yeah, I made it too. It's 74 to 70.
Wow. So actually, the DC does end up proving very costly. That's tough.
Yeah, that is really, really tough. That is a 4-point win here for the Black Crows. Really, really insane play right here. We will take a second, though, to look into Kanapek and the issue, and then we're going to confirm the final score.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be me, but you will